Mm-hmm. All right. Let me sip a little bit here. Mm. Lord have mercy. Now this here is some Bacardi mixed with gin, Gordon's gin. And like I told you, there's a reason why they call these spirits. From my experience, these are very, very potent tools for opening portals. So they're indispensable when it comes to spirituality. When you spit it four ways, you speak with authority. Your voice, your tongue, is not just an idle part of your body. The human body itself is a technology, a spiritual technology. Your tongue, if you notice, the tongue, the larynx, the part of the body in the throat that you use to speak, is shaped like a vagina. When you open your mouth to speak, you give birth to entities. When you add emotion and concentration to the speech, you speak from a deeper part of you, not just your mouth. You speak from a feeling. When you feel as you speak, you're doing a very high magic. You should be careful. The speech is the most overlooked power of man, and the most potent tool that you have is your speech. You know, it is to man's, it is unfortunate, let me put it that way, that the spiritual attributes and significance of speech is not understood by modern humans. If you knew what happened when you speak, you wouldn't speak idly. And you would be very careful of what you say and how you use the word I. The vowels, what you were taught as vowels, are not just vowels. You know, the English language or your academics gives these things very nominal definition. However, you know, you use them idly without really thinking deeper into what you're doing. But if you knew the gravity of your speech, you'd be very careful what you say with your mouth. Because every time you speak, entities are flying out your mouth and they surround you and they magnetize similar cymatic shapes. Every sound creates a shape. You know, there are videos on cymatics, CYMATICS, on YouTube, which we've talked about before in previous discussions. And you guys can acquaint yourself with that level of knowledge. Every shape that you see is the signature of a sound. Every single shape that you see is a sound. Even your table, your shoe, your belt, everything you see in the ether is making a sound. When you take your underwear and you put your underwear under a microscope and you look at it, you're going to see atoms. Those atoms are not stationary. They're always moving, and they're moving at a high degree of vibration, back and forth, in and out. The atoms that make physical matter are 99.9% space, empty space. So that means the physical things that we see are just 0.0001 of real reality, actual reality. This scientific perspective, or what we call the deeper analysis of life, is indeed true theurgy and true magic. This is the reason why the European magicians dominate the African magicians today, because the European magicians collated information. They deal with information, principles, and laws, while their African counterparts deal with showmanship, costumes, and vain representation, words that they cannot explain, rights that they cannot explain. So tradition has become idol. Idol, I-D-L-E. And this idol worship is the true idol worship. Because what you express is hollow. It has no scientific basis. And if it does, you don't remember it anymore, O ye Titans and Africans. And this is the topic, the first topic that we're going to talk about today. All right? So be very careful what you say. As you guys know, the entire universe is a sound garden. Okay? So everything in your body resonates. When you take a microscope and you look at physical matter, it's going to boil down to atoms. And the atoms arrange themselves in a particular way to create material. So when the atoms arrange themselves in what you call a BCC, body-centered cubic, you get iron, or what you call steel. When the same atoms arrange themselves in a FCC, a face-centered cubic, you get copper. It's the same atoms, but their arrangement, which creates a geometric pattern, is what determines the physical product that you see in your everyday life. Everything is made of atoms, but if everything is made of atoms, why are things different? Why is the concrete step on different from the flower if everything is made of atoms? Because of sound, resonance. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about chemistry. And you know, the root word in chemistry is alchemy. It's taken from the Igbo word ere okamuo. Ere okamuo. Which is ere, means outcome. Oka means arrangement or drawing. When you want to say, I drew a line, you say akaram line. Ka. Mwo is spirit. Oka is also the root word in worship. When Igbo people want to say, Ejerem Oka, they say, I went to worship. So how is it that calligraphy, even in the English word calligraphy, you still see the etymology ka? A lot of you Egyptologists see a hieroglyphic of two hands raised up, and they named it ka. The hands in Igbo are aka. So you see that ka is very important sound. And aka is what you use to draw and to create, to produce. So, for the atoms to produce, they must arrange themselves along what? Geometry, angles. This is called allotropy in chemistry. I'm trying to tell you guys how your world came to be, so you're not dazzled by the glamour of physicality. You can overlook what you see and go deeper into the origins of the things that you see. This is the true vision